Hello everybody, my name is RagingRaptor and I'm welcome to a new How It Really Is. Today we have a look at the American Challenge. We're not going to have a look at the TS-5, the newest version of TeamSpeak, Kappa. No, I cannot buy this tank at the moment, nor can I afford it, nor am I a community contributor yet. If you liked the video, feel free to share it with your friends and obviously to consider subscribing to get me closer to the goal to be actually a, well, World of Tanks community contributor. But what we are going to do today is look at some hard facts and do some estimations. First of all, the challenge goes 10 days. And one interesting thing is I want to go into those two statements over here. However, compared to the most recent challenge for the Panhard EBR-75, missions for commitment will be modified. Thanks to your feedback and suggestions, we have slightly adjusted the condition of some tasks that you were struggling with during the wheeled challenge. We are also continuing to look for optimal balance between mission complexity and their feasibility based on our statistics. This time we removed tasks in which you need to achieve a certain number of victories. Instead, we added a new type of task where you need to deal a certain amount of damage. So, dear Mr. Wargaming, I found out that, well, the missions were too hard and a lot of people complained, me including. Look at my other videos about the EBR-75. We do not know yet how expensive this package will be. We'll see this on Friday, and I hardly think I will have time on Friday to talk about it because I have till around 8 or 9 o'clock evening university, or rather electrotechnics. Whoop-de-fricking do. And, well, my estimation will be around $65 to $70 to maybe even $75. Not entirely sure though, that's pure guesswork. But what we can do now is have a look at the missions, how they were with the EBR, and compare them to the missions which we have now for the TeamSpeak 5. I did this in a handy dandy little Excel sheet. If there's still some German words around here, I'm a little bit sorry. I just used this spreadsheet in German for my German viewers, and I do see that my glorious face is in its way. So I just pulled myself a little bit down. Well, again, here we have the commitment missions and the mastery missions for TeamSpeak 5, and here we have commitment and mastery for the wheelie tank. The first stage already changes a lot, where you need to do for the EBR 3000 base XP, that is BEXP, to compare to 4 times 250 base XP. I do think that this one right here for the TeamSpeak is definitely easier than it is what we have for the EBR. Next up, either 3 kills and 3k damage or once 750 base experience. Again, I do think there were decent choices in making those missions easier. Next, we have one of the first win missions, which obviously Wargaming does not like, or we as a player didn't like, so we changed them up to 4500 base experience. There is a little German word, which is dritt, which means third. Sorry for that one. But yeah, then mastery is 5 times 800 base experience. And please, guys, note 500 base XP is no joke, to be honest. But now we have to do 2 times being third in base experience, at least third, and 550 with 550 base experience. Stage numero 3 is 1500 base XP versus now being 12 times top 10. Definitely easier for the TeamSpeak. Next, with the mastery, 6 times 3500 damage and being third in the damage from your team, or 3 times 3000 damage and be 15 damage in your team. As you can see, it straight up got easier in all 3 parameters: in damage to be dealt, damage in your team, and amount of time you have to finish it. So once again, pretty neat. Now, stage number 4 is 25 wins versus 12,000 base experience. And 8 times 950 base XP versus 6 times 800. You can again see both parameters were made a lot easier, especially for the mastery. Stage number 5, 30k versus 25 times 500 damage. Or 7 times 20% team damage, or damage of your team in total, or 7 times 15%. So again, both missions are a lot easier, and I do think the damage missions are way easier than what you think. And to be honest, if you really do not like doing those damage missions, I would honestly suggest to you to be a little bit of a dickhead and play your Sky Piggies, Clicker Piggies, and well, whatever. You can also do this with tier 9 and tier 10 tanks. Obviously, tier 9 and tier 10 tanks, most of the heavies have already 500 base damage or will do this in 1 or 2 shots, depending what they have. So most of the missions here, or this damage missions, I do think, we also have them later on again, are way easier than getting either the wins or the base experience. Stage 6 is 35 wins to 20,000 base XP. And again, I do want to note out, now we're at stage 6, and at stage 3, and at stage, we already had to do 15k or 30k at stage 5 in the EBR. This is pretty neat that it's a lot easier there. And the mastery mission is now 9 times 2 kills and 3k damage without any restrictions, while it was 950 base XP and be at least third in base experience. Now we come to number 7, which is 25 times 500 base experience, or 25 games where you have to do 500 base experience compared to the 80 games where you have to be top 10. That's a little bit tricky to calculate, but again, we're going to calculate it a little bit, do a little bit of estimation, a little bit of, well, a little bit over the hand calculations, and yeah, well, we get to that in just 2 or 3 minutes. Now, mastery 14 times 4k damage and 2 kills is definitely harder than doing 12 times 850 base experience. I do think though the 850 base experience are nothing to scoff at. They are not that easy to achieve after all, I do think personally, because you have to win the game, otherwise forget about it. You can forget about it. Now, onto stage 8, 30k base XP versus 40 games where you have to do at least 500 damage. Once again, definitely a lot easier, because in those games, if you play at least tier 8 tanks, that it has to be said, or tier 9, tier 10 tanks, it's definitely a lot easier. The mastery one, 14 times being top damage and deal at least 3k damage, or 12 times being top in XP and do at least 2k damage. So the mastery missions definitely shifted from less damage focus to more overall battle performance focus, which is not too bad, because I can do 2k damage in my EBR. You can do it. You can do it in a light tank. You can do it in an artillery. Then doing 3k damage and being top in damage. So this one right here was totally, or I do think the EBR was much more focused on tier 10 mediums, heavies and TDs than it was on lights or artillery. And especially for me, which were playing the EBR 105, that was a huge pain in my butthole. Stage number 9, 90 games where you have to be in a top 10 XP or do 30k base XP. Once again, I do think the 30k XP are a little bit easier, and I come to that in just a minute. Even though I think the base experience, yeah, I think my calculations for base experience are a little bit off. They are a little bit too good estimated, but then again, I'll get to that in just a minute. And 20 times 850 base XP and be the best, or 12 times top damage and 2 kills. Definitely go for the top damage. It's easier in my personal opinion. Nevertheless, it's still hard, but it's easier. And lastly, stage number 10, 35,000 base experience versus 50 times top 10 XP. If you just think about it, stage 9 here was basically half of what we have to do now for, double what we have to do now for the TeamSpeak 5 on stage 10. 20 times top base experience and 2,500 damage, or 12 times top experience and do 850 base XP. So, overall, in our previous video, we estimated that we need around 630 games for the EBR. We made those calculations. We said that overall, over all games we play, when we go solely for commitment, that we have a 50% win chance and 500 base XP on average. I do understand that 500 base XP is a little bit high, I do think, but for that again we have a low win rate. So I know, again, it's pure guesswork, it's pure estimation work right here. So I say, well, when we have one which is a little bit too high estimated and one is a little bit too low estimated, we kind of balance it out, because yeah, again, it's not too accurate, but it should give you a small little casing around you can work with. So yeah, we said here that we need for this to have 6 games, there we go, because 3,000 divided by 500 would be 6. We said we have 50% win chance, meaning we would need 14 games to finish off those missions, etc., etc. We also said that for those games right here, that we will have a 30% of fail chance, meaning 30% of the time we won't get top 10 XP. Because overall, top 10 XP shouldn't be too hard if you actively try to win the game and don't fail too hard. A little sip of water. Don't forget to stay hydrated, otherwise you get a headache like I do. So now you might ask yourself, but Raging, what are the calculations you've done for the TeamSpeak 5? Well, first of all, I'm going to prepare this. And before we look at the calculations, I want to give you a little bit of an overview of some games I've uploaded to watch replays for further use when I want to do another video about Chimera missions, but apparently I'm not going to do that. So, what you will see over all those games when we now just look at the winning team, that usually more than 50% of the players will get 500 base XP. Look at this guy. Did nothing, 500 base XP. This guy did even less and got barely 500 or almost 500. So next mission, next game, again 13 players got 500 base XP in the winning team. Here it's less, yes, here it's around 9 people if I'm not mistaken, or 8. Here once again it's around, you can see always sorted by XP earned. It's 14 people. Here it's 13 people which got 500 base XP. And here it's again 13 people. And lastly we have this one right here, which is also 13 people. The other one was 12, I think. Overall, you can see that more than 50% of the players will get those 500 base XP. The problem is though, when we go to the losing side, we'll see that over the board, nobody achieves 500 base XP. This one was close. It might also be just Ruffle Stomp games, to be honest. So this one got 500 base XP and was 4k damage in tier 9 tank with 3 kills against tier 10s and tier 8s, so not too bad either. So overall, you won't really achieve 500 base XP when you're in a losing team, but you will get it pretty decently in a winning team. So what we are going to do is estimate that you need around twice as many games for your base experience missions than which are asked for. Because then again, you have around a 50% win rate, we suggested, but then again, it could be, when we say that you have 50% base experience, it could be a little bit wrong. Again, around 50% of the games you lose, there you won't really have the chance, but I guess that in the other 50% of the times, you win and will get those 500 base experience, as you can see here, because again, throughout all those games, you only had one deviation, and the rest was pretty close to 13 to 14 or the 12 to 14 players getting all those 500 XP. Hope you're still with me, because now we have a look at the math. And Abschnitt means stage. Again, Gefechte means battles. You learned some German with me. Hell yeah, I guess. So, for the first estimation, we said, gotta get over there to the TeamSpeak 5. There we go. We said that we are going to need, again, 250, you saw it. You can get it in a losing team, but it's not too sure. So we just say, yeah, it's a 50% win rate. There we go. Means we multiply this with 2 because we need twice the amount of battles. Means we get 8 games, which we need for the first commitment. On average, again, in our estimation. Then the second one, we said we have 500 base experience, meaning we just divided by 500, getting 9 games we need to play. Next will be a little bit trickier, but then again, I said that I'm going to approximate that if you have a fail rate of being top 10 base experience of your team of 30%. Meaning, there we go, 30% times 1.3 gives us 15.6 games. We round it up to 16 because we are doucheheads. Again, it's just a little bit of estimation for you. 12k base experience for 24 games, here another times 1.3, because again we say you have a fail rate of around 30% to not achieve 500 damage because you got artillery focused, ammo racked, etc, depending what tank you're playing. 32.5 games gives us 33 games when we round up. Another 500 division by 540 games, 25 times 2 gives us 50 games for for stage number 7, which is once again the 500 base experience. We say that we need around twice as many games for that to achieve because we need to win. And it's again a rough estimate. Lastly, or no, not lastly, 40 times 1.3, again the same coefficient we have here, gives us 52 games. Another division gives us 60 games for stage 9. And for stage 10, we once again take our estimation of 1.3. And well, 65%, 65 games. Now let's just add this all up and have a look at how many games we have to play. 8 plus 9 plus 16 plus 24 plus 33 plus 40 plus 50 plus 52 plus 60 plus 65. And the grand total is, drum roll please, 357 games. Please keep in mind EBR needed in our measurement, which we kept for that to make it fair and make it comparable, 630 games. So not double, but almost double. Or wait, how much would it be? Times 630. There we go. 56.6% harder or more games which we had to do. Now, the problem is though, we only have 10 days to complete it, where the EBR had 14 days. Don't trust me? Well, here we go. Here is the challenge on wheels, and they are saying it. Where is it? Kicks off. I'm just going to search. There we go. It's that easy. Control F, and there we go. 14 days from 21st to 7th of March. What about the American challenge? You've guessed it. It's the 10 days when we do another 10. Not 19, 10. No, 10 inches. There, last 10 days from 5th of April to 15th of April. So yeah, 10 days to fulfill those missions. Meaning that right now, we can make the math. We just did it here. 45 games we needed for the EBR to finish. And 357, yes, you can divide by 10, gives us 35.7 games per day, which we should in total or on average play to get this tank with our estimations. Still a lot of games. We can now multiply this with 7 minutes, which is, as far as I know, is the rough time a game in World of Tanks needs. Now we have 250 minutes. 250 divided by 60 gives us 4.16 hours. So around, I don't know, 4 hours and 7 minutes or something per day of game time. That's still a really, really long time, my dear friends and followers and viewers. I'm personally at the moment studying mechanical engineering in Lucerne. I do need at the moment, I get home at around 7 o'clock, or I'm finished at around 7 o'clock. Meaning, well, I would in theory have to play from 7 o'clock till 23 o'clock daily for the next 10 days to finish this mission in our average. Obviously, I'm not your average player, and you might not be either. But then again, this is just a rough estimate, 4.4 hours roughly, and it's still a lot of time. Yes, on weekends you can play more, obviously. Luckily for us, there is no race weekend for the Formula 1 fans under you. So, what can we say else about this number? Well, we can compare it with the number of games we needed to play per day in the EBR. And we said it was 630 games to play, divided by 14 days gave us 45 games per week, times 7 for the hours, divided by 60, 315 divided by 60, 315 divided by 60, gives us 5.25 hours, meaning 5 hours and 15 minutes. Which we also wrote down here, which you had to play per day, every day for 14 days on average with our estimation. So yes, definitely the missions got easier. There is no doubt at all about them. I do especially think those 500 damage missions are incredibly easy when you decide to not go for mastery and just play your temp tanks. Like, legit, if you want to be a dickhead, play artillery for those games, because with an artillery you are on average doing 500 damage with the meta arty, which is Conqueror Gun Guarantee 92 per shot. So it shouldn't be too hard. Hence why I even do think that at the moment 1.8 a 30% fail rate of 500 damage is a really heavy estimate. But then again, we have others. Again, it should balance it a little bit out. Overall, 357 games, 4 hours per day roughly. Yeah, for 10 days straight. What do you think about the idea, or what do you think about my estimate? Let me know in the comment section below. You can give me your feedback, and you can give me your, well, now I don't remember the word I want to say. Your experience from the EBR. How long did you take the EBR? Did you manage to get it for free? Or was it too hard for you? And again, for me, I didn't have time, nor I had the pleasure to play it fully, so I got to 70%. Which is still decent, but it was still rather expensive, like $20, I think. Wasn't entirely sure. Again, I do not want to make estimations about the price right here and how worth the bundle is with the different things. The cool thing is we get 5 people with Brothers in Arms skill trained at 100%. Not 100% sure though if it's the same as with the EBR, so it's base Brothers in Arms, but from the writing it looks the same. One thing to notice though, that you don't really get experience boosts for your mishaps. Like, this is free experience, this is crew experience. Wait, if I'm not mistaken, now I have to actually look at it, because again, I'm not, yeah, free experience, crew experience. So yeah, we don't actually get any crew experience boosters, which is a little bit sad. But then again, as far as I remember, it was the same for the EBR. I do think though, when I just a little bit click through it here, that the prices will be roughly the same as for the EBR. We got less directives, I think, but then again, I'm not 100% sure. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I'll leave you by that. Have a nice rest of, it's Wednesday, my dudes. And yeah, I'll talk to you all later, and goodbye.